This year is graciously sponsored by Reb David and Figi Friedman of Wesley Hills, New York, Le'ilu Nishmas, their fathers, Avram Yaakov ben Usher Klein, as well as Reb Chaim Aaron ben Yaakov Ber Friedman. May their neshamas have an aliyah, may it be melitz yoshim for their entire mishpachas. Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Lachtech Musar podcast. We continue with the Pele Yoeitz. We are on page 37 in the art scroll. We are day 12 of Hachzik. Yesterday we were talking about self-worth, and how a person, once he realizes how much he loves himself and reminds himself how much he loves himself, that will memelo, by default, crumble, melt away the Atzas Yetzer, because the Atzas Yetzer is coming to destroy us, is coming to make us engage in negative things, in sinful acts, in divrei avoin ubatala, vishmad, for ourselves, to destroy us. But if we remember that we love ourselves more than anything in the world, then we are not going to conform, we're not going to shtaltzu to the Atzas Yetzer, because there's something much more important, and that is ourselves. Says the Pele Yoeitz, more on this point. Ulefi haseicha hayashar roila adam le'av es gufa yosemi mamoinoi v'toiv pas chareva b'shalva u'menucha mehoyne kar nefish b'tircha. According to simple logic, once a person realizes that his sole mission is to grow spiritually and nothing else, it would make sense for a person to be more concerned for his physical well-being than he would be for his money, and therefore he should realize that it is better for him to enjoy a dry piece of bread in peace and serenity more than a vast treasure that is accompanied by difficult labor. Why? Because if we want to grow in our ruchnius, then we'll focus on what's easiest, on menuchas hanefesh, on menuchas haguf, and we'll take a dry piece of bread than having a lavish banquet on a cruise going to who knows where. That's the Pashat Cheshbon. And if Hashem expands his limits with blessing of wealth, he will make use of that money to bring himself peace and rest. And he will be satisfied with that. If a person has tons of money, he's not going to spend it on taivas, on indulgence, on desires. He's going to just make sure that he has menuchas hanefesh, he has menuchas haguf, yishuv hadas, and that'll be enough. Imagine such a thing. A person will use all of his money to pay for Yishuv Das. Not more gashmis, not more taiva, not more fun vacation. Just to be the menucha. He should be able to focus on Avodas Hashem. He should have a house. He should have food. He should have the basics. And he should dedicate the rest of his life for Kadosh Baruch Hu, for the end goal, for the finish line, for Yom Hadin, Oyim Gadol V'Nayra. He won't be engrossed and expend unnecessary toil al betza kesef in this world for more and more monetary gain. That won't be the ends, that'll only be a means. And if he has means, he will spend money to treat himself healthy. He'll be kind. So says the Pele Yoeitz that the logic is that a person should strive to have menuchas hanefesh, menuchas haguf, yishuv hadas, and if a person has extra, he should use those funds in order to provide that circumstance, in order to guarantee that. But certainly, says the Pele Yoeitz, that a person who was zeicha, who did merit tremendous wealth, lo yehe b'sei v'yayin b'zoyle basa eichem mamadanim, he should not become like those drunkards and gluttons, people who eat solely for the pleasure of indulgence, those who are constantly strolling aimlessly and without any purpose day or night. Those who engage exceedingly in marital pleasures like roosters. For all these people who waste their time and their lives in relentless pursuits of physical pleasures will be annihilated from soul to flesh. This is based on a pasuk in Ishaya. He called Elim nefesh v'abasa yichalu kasher yizbar oid b'mkoymai v'ala kol tzarich shmira min akas shaharei amru. And also we have to remind ourselves that the most important thing is that a person should always pursue and be in a state of peace and serenity to allow his spiritual growth to expand, to escalate, and to spread. And that starts with distancing and being completely removed from anger, because anger is the most destructive of all midos. As Shlomo Melech says, Haser kas milibecha, remove, banish anger from your heart, v'haveh ra mibsarecha, and thus evil will be removed from your flesh. So the ideal, the golden standard, is if a person is blessed with wealth, with parnasa berevach. He shouldn't be engaging in pleasures, eating for the purpose of pleasure, and strolling aimlessly day and night, and engage in taivus like roosters, says the Pele Yoeitz. Why? They're all going to be annihilated from soul to flesh. That's number one, so you have to just focus on the basics, on the emes. And number two, remove kas from your heart. And something we have to realize is that one who does not take the steps necessary to avoid anything that can harm his body and make his spiritual pursuits more difficult is his own worst enemy. So he's building up a math equation over here. He's saying if a person loves himself the most, and a person really cares for his nitzchis, for his best, then a person who does the opposite, he engages in gashmis Hashem gashmis and taiva Hashem taiva, it comes out that he's his own worst enemy. He's in fact asking for trouble to befall on him, and additionally, he's destined to answer for this at the time of judgment. He says, the Pele Yoeitz, if a person is chayv b'chaveri, he wounds his fellow. He's chayv, he's liable. So certainly, kal v'chomer, if a person is chayvel in himself, a person who afflicts himself, he afflicts himself by disabling, by stunting his growth from being an Eved Hashem. Achas kama v'kama, how the more so, how much more of a kal v'chomer is it that he's going to have to give a din v'cheshbon on that chavala, on that wound that he's causing to himself. He's defiling his own flesh, and he's surely a cruel person. And the halacha is that if there's a suffix pukach nefesh, a person must distance himself from such a situation. If a person is willing to stoop so low that he endangers himself and his ability to attain physical heights on the account of ruchnius, it comes out that his money is more integral to him than his life. And what happens? He's chayiv to give a din v'cheshbon on that, because it shows that his moment is more chaviv than his nefesh. And if a nes was done on his behalf, means that this din v'cheshbon that's going to have against him, it's going to be a claim, it's going to be an accusation against him that he's engaging in gashmis instead of ruchnius. Says the Pele Yoeitz, if there's a nes, a miracle that's supposed to be done on his behalf, he has the ability to do so, but he might be harming himself to such a point where that nes is not going to come to fruition. It's not going to happen. Why? Because because the fact that he was Isaac and Gashmias and he lost his way and he went like a stray sheep, the zechus of having a nes be performed on his behalf, he's sabotaging that opportunity. And what happens? Nimsa shemoiche zechuyosef v'rav tuvat sofen loy lo'olam haba matan schar shal mitzvahs ha'mammon kol dehu shehu kalav avid. It comes out that it's like a bank account. He has money that he's able to invest in his nitzchias, or money that he's able to invest in his gashmis, in his olam hazeh. Says the Pele Yoeitz, the terrible reality is that he's selling his zechusim of olam haba, of eternity, for olam hazeh. And the vigam onish. Not only is he going to lose out on the investment, the ROI, he's partially investing into, as we called it before, cracked, broken cisterns, because it's all futility, it's all going to pass. But also he's going to get an onish from it. Vigam onish uchadaihu lischayv benavshay al da'ovar amemer derachmana. He will surely be punished for this misdeed, and he in fact deserves to lose his life. Why? Because the Torah says, beware for yourself and greatly beware of your soul. And it says in the pasuk as well, but you shall guard your souls very well. And these psukim enjoin a person to take whatever steps are necessary to ensure his life and well-being. And this is on a gashmis diga level, and kol shekain on a ruchnis diga level. So if a person makes the wrong choices, chas v'shalom, he is being over on these averus. So not only is he sabotaging his likeliness, the likelihood, the ability to get a nes performed for him, and he's going to have to get an einish for it, but also he's being over on transgressions and an einish on those deraises of v'nishmarat ma'od nafshe seichem and hisham lecha shmar nafshecha ma'od. We are the watchmen of our own souls, of our own nefesh, of our own destiny, and Shemayim, our nitzchias. And if we don't take the reins in our own hand, then Achman al-Itzlan, we will have to pay the price.